It's been a deadly 24 hours on Central Texas roads. Thanks for joining us. I'm Natasha Chen. Two separate accidents in Killeen have killed two women overnight. The first happened just before 10:30 last night. A female pedestrian was hit by a car as she was crossing Veterans Memorial Boulevard from the south side of the roadway to the north. Police still don't know who she is and need help identifying the victim. She's a black female around 5'2" or 5'3", weighing about 200 pounds. She was wearing a white shirt and blue jeans. She died last night after 11 at Darnall Army Medical Center. She was hit by a silver 1999 Pontiac Bonneville. That driver, a 40-year-old Killeen man, was charged with driving while intoxicated. His case is being reviewed by the Bell County District Attorney's Office. The other accident happened at about 3 this morning on the 6900 block of Rancier, where a 49-year-old woman died when her Hyundai Elantra crossed into the oncoming lane of traffic. She collided with a Kia Sorento driven by a 31-year-old man. The woman died after being transported to Scott and White Hospital. The man was treated and released from Darnall Army Medical Center. And now let's turn it over to First Alert meteorologist Conley Isom in the Weather Center for our first forecast.
It has been another hot afternoon across central Texas and the Brazos Valley. Temperatures out there this afternoon, 97 in Waco, 97 in Killeen. Not quite as warm in the Brazos Valley, where we've seen a few more clouds and even some storms to our south. 93 at Eastward Airport, 93 in Hearn, 96 in Corsicana, 95 in Hamilton. Of course, you factor in the humidity. Heat index values not quite as high as they've been, but it still feels like it's 102 in Waco. The good news is temperatures are going to come down and rain chances are going to go up. We'll take a look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
And now to breaking news out of Iowa, where an evacuation has been called for nearly 1,200 people after a nearby dam failed, flooding the community. Officials say the massive rain caused water to go over the Lake Delhi Dam, causing it to breach. The National Weather Service is reporting a 30-foot gap at the dam. Evacuation sirens sounded this afternoon, but residents had little time to get out. A soldier from El Paso has died in Afghanistan from injuries he suffered after being swept away by the current when a levee broke near his military vehicle. The Department of Defense says Army Private First Class James O'Quinn's death yesterday was not combat-related. Tyler police say a 16-year-old boy taken into custody last night grabbed a gun from his duffel bag at a juvenile detention center and fired several shots. They say the teen also threatened to kill himself before being brought under control earlier today. The teen was returned to custody after being treated for minor injuries. As the BP oil spill nears its 100th day, cleanup efforts had to be put on hold due to Tropical Storm Bonnie. Now that Bonnie has died out, work can resume on plugging the leaking well. ABC's Michael Barr has the story.
A flotilla of vessels, one of the largest collections of ships since D-Day, has returned to the Gulf Coast to resume clearing the oil spill now that the threat of Tropical Storm Bonnie appears to have ended. For the past few days, workers boarded up buildings and packed up thousands of tons of equipment as they prepared for the first major storm of the hurricane season. Even booms used to block the flow of oil was coiled up. The only thing left in place were anchors that were too heavy to float away. Officials say that work on the cleanup may have to be halted from time to time this summer, depending on the weather in the Gulf of Mexico.
We're going to be playing a cat and mouse game for the remainder of the hurricane season. We'll have to react to the best forecast.
The stormy weather has delayed work on the relief well, which upon completion will be filled with mud and cement to permanently kill the leak. The cap used to plug the wellhead appears to have remained intact, and officials believe it should stay that way since it is so far beneath the ocean surface. Back on land, some Gulf Coast residents are raising concerns about the slow and complicated process for receiving money from BP. Kenneth Feinberg, the administrator of the $20 billion compensation fund, told a town hall meeting in Alabama that he is looking into it.
I'll do my best as quickly as I can to accelerate the process that will get them some financial help, or at least some certainty.
Michael Barr, ABC News.
A Texas man arrested in April at a nuclear missile launch site in northwest North Dakota has been sentenced and released from federal custody. James Sauter of San Antonio was found guilty Friday of a misdemeanor charge of criminal trespassing. Magistrate Judge Charles Miller sentenced him to time served since his April 15th arrest near Partial. Sauter could have faced up to 6 months in prison. Sauter was arrested after allegedly jumping the fence surrounding the nuclear missile launch site. He didn't deny that during Friday's trial. He testified he was protesting nuclear weapons. The Minuteman III missiles that dot the northwest North Dakota countryside are maintained by Minot Air Force Base. BP is offering some Gulf Coast scientists big contracts to keep them silent. These lucrative contracts would keep scientists from releasing their findings on the massive oil spill for 3 years. Carrie Nelson, the president of the American Association of University Professors, says the 3-year limitation could suppress information key to restoring the environment. BP spokesman David Nicholas confirms contracts with more than a dozen Gulf Coast experts. He says BP is only asking that legal matters be kept confidential. Agents with the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission went undercover in Bryan 2 weekends ago with the help of teenagers to catch businesses who might be selling alcohol to minors. Out of 27 convenience and grocery stores in Milam and Madison counties, 7 of them sold beer or wine to the 17-year-old volunteers. That's a 74% compliance rate, far worse than the state average of 88%. The 7 store clerks were charged with sale to a minor, a Class A misdemeanor. Waco drivers should be on the lookout tomorrow for traffic delays and road closures because of the Tri-Waco Triathlon. Jack Weiss, the race director, says the event starts at 7. Cameron Park will be closed from 5 a.m. to noon, but intersections will be closed as early as 6:45. Martin Luther King will have 1 lane closed in each direction. The traffic around FM 3501, where 19th Street turns into China Spring Road, will see heavy backups. Roads should be back open by 10:30. Coming up next on the Texas Report, First Alert meteorologist Conley Ison will have your full Texas weather forecast. And a little later, the Midwest is dealing with some severe weather this afternoon. We'll have more.